You want to go first?
Sure. Hi, my name is Mars and I go by they, them pronouns.
And my name is Melissa and I go by she, her pronouns.
MJ Rodriguez. My preferred pronouns, I use all pronouns.
Hi guys, my name is Shay T. Mannon. My pronouns are he, him, his. So, just a little quick interview-ish. So I wanted to ask you both the meaning behind each name that you have painted on you, and yeah.
Disgusting. I was much heavier as a child, and I lived in a very, very white state. And because of that and my thickness, I was referred to as disgusting because my body was thicker. And a lot of that is cultural, you know, being biracial. But I used to always get called disgusting because I was bigger. Nigger. I never utter those words, but being that I came from a white state, I was referred to that quite frequently by all of the nasty, hateful people who felt like it was appropriate or okay. Nasty. That definitely had to do with my skin disorder. I have vitiligo, and it's where my body attacks the pigment, and so the white spots have no pigment at all. And they used to call me nasty because they treated me like I was dirty or like they could catch it. Oh, what else? Fat. God. God, I felt this up until, today. When I was growing up, I was bigger. Adulthood, much heavier. Had twins and got even bigger. At my highest, I was 329 pounds and had weight loss surgery, and still look in the mirror and still see that 329 pound woman. So I struggle with that every day. Ugly. God. I got called that more times than I can count, and I can honestly say that I probably call myself that more times than I can count too. It's amazing the little seeds that people can implant in you at such a young age that can cause you to say some pretty hateful things about yourself. Oreo. One, because of my skin disorder, being black and white, but two, being biracial. So I would be called Oreo, or I would be asked, are you black or are you white today? Or if I spoke in a certain way, it was, oh, you got your black side today, or things of that nature. I couldn't just be Melissa. I couldn't just speak articulately, or, tap into that more cultural side of me. I had to pick, and I couldn't imagine picking. What else is on me? Cow. Whoa, cow on my back. My skin disorder, for one, definitely kind of looked like a Jersey cow. But then also being heavier growing up, so it was both pieces to that puzzle.
And then I see stupid on it.
And then stupid. I definitely struggled education-wise growing up, but it was because I didn't apply myself. Because of that, I was labeled as being stupid when really it was just me trying to get through every single day, trying to not harm myself or have some type of destructive behavior to try to be able to get through those really hard days. So those are my words.
Nigger, of course, white people like to call us black folks that word. I've been called it one too many times as a kid. Even, you know, black people call me that as well, but instead of the ER, they put the A. I hate the word. I think the word is very ugly. I think the word is ignorant, and I'm just not a fan of it. Pot belly. So as you can see, I got a stomach. I've always been a chunky kid as growing up. My weight fluctuates and whatnot, especially as a kid. I was on medication for mental health, and so it made me blow up even more. So I remember I was like 211 all in the stomach, and when I took myself off that medication, I lost a lot of weight. Still got some left, but you know, it is what it is. I'm still working on myself, and you know, it is what it is. For a while, this has been a huge insecurity in my stomach, and still today it is. It plays a very big part in like how I see myself. For years I was not comfortable showing my body at all. Even stuff like this would trigger me. Even looking at photos of myself still today triggers me. But I've learned to, you know what, I am beautiful in my skin the way I am, and you know, if anybody doesn't like it, then kiss my ass. Sean's a lover. So I am a survivor of sexual assault, and when I was about 6 years old, I was raped. And this person here, the person who raped me, his name was Sean, and when it happened, the day it actually happened, my brothers and the rest of my siblings decided to start calling me Sean's lover whenever they got mad at me. Just like the word faggot. They just love calling me that. And all that shit. Unworthy. Wasn't so much what I was necessarily called, but more so what I felt. You know, I felt I was unworthy of anything. I still, like imposter syndrome, I deal with that as an artist. You know, just being, you know, within this community here, the LGBTQ community, they make me feel unworthy a lot. Just how things are going, how we treat each other, and such. What is it? On my back, I have Blackie. You know, me being darker skinned. You get the picture. A burnt roach. So someone on the app Grindr, and also as a kid, you know, burnt cockroach, that's what I call people who are of darker skin, the colorism shit, and it was actually a person of color that called me that. MJY. So funny story, which kind of goes with the whole monkey thing. So when I also grew up in the group homes, and when I was a kid, there was a staff there that used to call me MJY. I never got the reference until I got a little older, and basically he was sick calling me a monkey. He was a white man that, to me, looking back, he was a whole fucking racist, but, you know, calling me MJY, monkey, yada yada yada. Average. So I've been told by a few people, ones who actually look worse than I do, that I was average looking. And to me, beauty is subjective to me. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and I'm okay with that. And you know, like most people say, in this community, everything is so superficial. If you don't fit this one particular body type, then you are not really worthy. You're average or non-fucking existent. Whatever. African booty scratcher. You know, we've all been called that as black folks. So I am first generation Senegalese American. My family's Muslim. I'm not. I left the religion when I was 15. But the kids in school used to say African booty scratcher, and used to go to me. And so, yeah, that's the story behind the words written on me.
So, a lot of the words you see painted on me, puffball, BMW, gross, devil, fat, maricon, even the ones on my face, were names that were used when I was growing up. I was very skinny when I was younger, very, very skinny. So I'm anemic and I was just very picky, so they kind of gave me like pills and I blew up like a balloon. So then that was like preteen to teenager. Teenagers are vicious. So these are the things that I was called by kids and family members, like including close family members. So these words written on me signify just the hate, the energy that was given to me when I was younger.
So mine are kind of a mix, but so fake, being non-binary, I've been told that I'm fake, or like that I'm a fake boy, or that I'm faking, trying to be someone that I'm not. So fat, growing up, while I love my parents for the life that they gave me, having adopted me and giving me a better chance at life, my uncle who raised me unfortunately was a bit rigid and a bit verbally abusive. So I got to a point in high school where I was at a healthy weight and he would call me fat, because when you have AIDS or when you have HIV, like you get kind of like a bloated stomach. Like, I forget what the medical terminology for it is, but it's actually like a syndrome. And so for me, I've kind of just always had a stomach, no matter how fit or how, healthy weight or a little overweight, but I've never been extremely overweight. Personally, I'm 5 feet tall and I've never been more than 140 pounds, but my uncle really made it a point to let me know that I was fat in my teenage years, and yet he was the one who would be filling up my plates of food. So, we gotta love that. Sissy. So I've definitely been told that I'm not man enough, which, being non-binary, I don't feel male or female. Like I'm in that line of neutrality of I don't feel like my gender matters at all. I'm just Mars. I don't want to be, nor do I need to be anyone else but myself. But because I present more masculinely, I've been told that that I'm kind of like a sissy, or like, am I trying to be a boy? And that's not at all the case at all. AIDS kid. So having been born HIV positive, it made it really challenging growing up as a kid. So I got teased a lot, probably from about first grade till about 8th grade, really, because I was the sick kid. I was given special privileges. I could skip this class because it meant I needed a nap here. I could, not go to school for a week and then come back and just kind of dive right in, having been out sick. And so the other kids would kind of see me as privileged, and so they would tease me and call me names because they knew that I was sick, and it was just kind of like that, well, why do you get this and why do you get that, when in reality I was just trying to live and survive another day, that statistically I never was supposed to. So I'm glad to be here, but being called AIDS kid it wasn't fun, especially when, all you're literally trying to do is stay alive. You're just like, okay, well, thanks for throwing it in my face that, I'm the sick kid. I don't know, what else do I have on me? Femme. So this one hits close, with being non-binary, growing up I was told, like, you're a woman. You're biologically born a woman, so you need to dress like a woman. You need to wear skirts, you need to wear dresses, you need to wear your hair a certain way. And for me, it just never felt right. I did what I was told for a while, but I typically would find ways to, bring another set of clothes or something like that to be able to change out of more feminine clothes more quickly, because while I embrace my feminine side of me, it's not something that I am as in tune with. Like I said, I really thrive on the line of neutrality. And so someone calling me femme when I'm very androgynous and kind of masculine presenting, definitely trying to stay out of the realm of very easily being mistaken for a female. So when someone calls me femme, it just kind of hits me really deeply, because it's just like, well damn, I'm obviously pretty androgynous in the way that I'm presenting, so obviously you're really throwing that at me. And that's kind of my story behind my words. And
You have one more.
I have one more.
Plague.
Oh, the plague. So when I remember, I was 17, 18, just starting to date my first woman, and we were sneaking around. We had just become sexual, and her mom had just found out, and her mom knew that I had HIV from having met her daughter in church. And her daughter was very in tune with, her sexuality and everything, and she kind of was my first gay influence. And so we fell in love, and we had a really steamy, hot relationship, and one that involved sex. And so when her mom found out, her mom turned it around and tried to say that I was purposely trying to infect the entire family, and said that I was the plague, and that I was trying to drive essentially the plague through her house. When in reality, I had just had my first girlfriend. We were just starting to get sexual. Plus, 17, 18, I had an undetectable HIV status back from when I was 15. So at that time, sexually, there would have been no way for me to have transmitted it to her. But her mom wanted to put a restraining order on me to keep me away from her and the house and her family, because she was insistent that I was purposely trying to infect the household in its entirety because I had had sex under her roof with her daughter. So, yeah. The plague is a deep one, and I think that one kind of sticks with you, because, HIV as a whole is, it's an epidemic all itself, and so it hit, it roared through the 80s and 90s like a plague, but to be called a plague, to be called that, is just kind of, it makes you feel dirty even when you're not. So.
People talk about my weight because of how skinny I am.
They are the TikTokers taking on body shaming.
Muscle dysmorphia is a major issue.
A growing number of gay men are publicly pushing back against what they call bullying within the gay community over how they look.
I've had someone actually say, if you lost a little bit more weight, I think we could go on a date.
A study showed gay men had lower body esteem scores, higher rates of eating disorders, and greater concerns for physical attractiveness compared to straight men. Nico Cassidy grew up as an overweight kid in upstate New York, but once he got to college, body expectations led him to extreme dieting.
You're so gay, you're fat. It's definitely deep-rooted with shame from childhood, and just to be who we are. And I think that shame kind of comes out and portrayed as like a little bit more of a superficial vibe.
Sam Coffey posts his body with pride, calls himself full-figured and body positive.
And there is an unwritten and kind of unspoken Adonis complex that happens, especially within American gay culture.
Experts point to social media and dating apps affecting all of us, gay and straight. One study showed digital comparisons led to users feeling worse about themselves.
The pursuit of the ideal body or the pursuit of perfection can certainly be damaging, can lead to depression, anxiety, self-esteem issues.
Nico and Sam say they hope speaking out will help change perspective.
The one thing that I've learned is to just confront things as they happen, because if you actively are working on yourself, you will always have hardships to overcome, but you'll always be the best you can be.
My relationship with my body, I feel it's a growing relationship. I'm getting used to me.
Has there been any experiences where you also face a lot of discrimination from within the community because of either your status, the way you look, etc.?
I would say being a heavier person in the queer community has its own challenges in a nutshell. Definitely for gay men, but also, for queer women or women presenting. We don't have that Coke bottle shape. We don't have that butt that kind of pops out. There's pieces I feel like that are focused on, I think. Yeah. I don't know how to answer that question. I think really just me being more plus size. I almost felt like I got singled out. Even when I tried to blend in, I feel like I just stuck out. And then it got to a point where I stopped caring, and then I got the colorful hair and started wearing clothes that made me feel better about myself. And I think some people didn't know how to take me, which kind of made me want to do it much more. Yeah.
So I think for me, within the community itself, I think I've had less bad experiences when it comes to HIV, but being non-binary actually is something that I don't want to say I catch a lot of flack for, but it can be like a controversial topic for other people when I tell them that I'm non-binary, and it's almost like I've been told that my non-binary people are thought of as the people who choose whether or not they want to be a boy or a girl that day. Whereas for me, that gender binary is just, it's very fluid. It's just kind of nope, I don't need to be a boy or a girl to be myself in any way. So whether or not my male or female, entities present is what I'm comfortable with. But being non-binary and that identity, you kind of define it. It's defined slightly differently for everybody, but I've definitely caught that almost animosity for, well, I get to choose whether I'm more masculine that day or more feminine that day, which may save me from, in a situation where as a trans person I may be in danger if I'm a trans woman, or then maybe I can say, well, actually I'm a trans man, but that's never where my mind has ever gone. I'm non-binary through and through. My gender matters none, and whether whether you're a friend, a sister, a brother, whatever, I'm going to defend the trans community, my trans community, and everyone within the LGBTQIA, just as an ally. But being non-binary, honestly, is the one thing that I've kind of caught some defense on.
Yeah.
So very much within the community, there's this certain mold or archetype that people tend to go to. The skinny twinks, hairless, the whole nine. As you can see, I'm not that. I'm very hairy. I'm just, not fat, but it's just I know that I'm built and I'm set up a certain way. So when it came to me going out and talking to people, or even if I had an interest and I'm like, oh my god, this person is really good looking, let me go ahead and shoot my shot, 9 times out of 10 I would get shut down, because either they didn't like the hair, they didn't like that I was fat, there's just certain things that they didn't like. So yeah, I've definitely faced discrimination regarding that. And then that's a double-edged sword too, because me being Puerto Rican, once people find out I'm Puerto Rican, I do face discrimination, but it's usually more centered regarding my ethnicity, regarding my cultural background, me being Puerto Rican. And yeah, that's, yeah.
I think advertisement for the LGBT community as a whole plays a huge part in how we view ourselves, especially when it comes to body dysmorphia and all that stuff, for the simple fact that the advertisement for this community, it only shows certain types. They show the Andrew Christian, GQ, as we call it, mainstream pretty. you know, gay people. And you know, even if you ever notice, they'll show, like if it's a group photo, they'll show it's the predominantly white folks. Then they'll throw in that one black person, that token black person, then that one ethnic ambiguous person, then maybe that one Latino or that one Asian and stuff like that. But they don't show all of us, and I think that does play a huge part in, you know, the insecurities that we go through. They don't show, you know, black and brown folks who or even non-black and brown folks who look like myself or who are much bigger. They don't show members of the community that are disabled. They don't show the older generation. I was gonna say elderly, but no, they're older generation. They don't show them. They don't show a lot of our trans brothers and sisters. You know, they don't show the everyday person. And that's a huge problem, because then, you know, especially when we're younger and we're seeing this, those of us who are coming up in this new generation, when we're looking at that, we're not seeing ourselves. And so we feel like, okay, in order to be accepted, to be loved, and to be deemed beautiful, we have to look like that. And again, as I said, the reality is that many of us, we're never gonna look like that. And so we engage in a lot of harmful things to try to look like that and to try to please quote unquote society or the fucking LGBTQ community that thinks that everybody's supposed to look like that. And that's a huge problem, and it sucks, because we come in different shapes and sizes, skin tones, colors, backgrounds, and everything, and that's what it's supposed. That's a good thing. We need to start showing that we're incredibly diverse. We are all not the same.